that maybe it's actually something from my past. It's something deeper rooted within my life, within my experiences outside of this person. So you're being asked to accept something, and maybe the perfection you want is from yourself, that you expect to be perfect all the time and never to be hurt or disappointed. And you could be resentful because you're telling yourself you're supposed to be perfect and you're not. Let the truth set you free. Speak the truth you've hidden. Your need, your fear, your regret, freedom is going to begin when you start to set yourself free of whatever this truth is. So whatever this resentment is that you're holding deep inside, you could be pretending on the outside that everything is perfectly fine. It's no big deal. But in the next 48 hours, there's a black cloud of resentment that you're holding or harboring within your situation or circumstance, or it's something that's being reactivated because there's a deep root that this weed had been woven at some point in your life and it has never been removed. And so Spirit is saying it's time for you to be truthfully honest with yourself, with the experiences you've had, that maybe if you expect yourself to be perfect, it's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to go through pain and actually learn from it. Give me two more. You could be feeling the sense of resentment in the next 48 hours, this black cloud of resentment. Tell me more. Cultivate courage. This is asking you to muster up the courage to overcome this. Now, sometimes with releasing things, it's not just saying, oh, I release it and let it go, Theresa. It is actually understanding that you have to actively make changes to release something, okay? So it says, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to move forward despite of it. So you may feel fearful of accepting the resentment that happened or the experience that you went through, that you keep replaying the story over and over again, something you could have done different or said different, or the person involved could have said or did something different. You can't change what's already happened. And the only thing you can change is your perspective in the now. And that's what you're being asked to, is to have the courage to realize the resentment you're holding or harboring within your situation for this person or this circumstance in your past, whatever this deep root is. It's time to dig this up. It's time to finally say, you know what? Let's stop pushing it down and acting like it doesn't exist, because it's actually coming out in other ways in your life that you don't realize. Give me one more. When you're not at peace, it comes and festers in other ways that we least want it to. What is this last card? Trust the path ahead. It says, trust in the unfolding of your life. Every step is a part of your journey to become who you're meant to be. You're not meant to be somebody who's angry, bitter, resentful. You're not meant to be that version of yourself. That experience you went through that wasn't perfect, it was painful, it was hurtful, maybe very devastating for some, but it was an experience that you were meant to go through on a soul aspect. You were meant to learn from it. And you're being asked to have the courage in the next 48 hours to ask yourself, what is the true reason of what this pain is? And why did I go through this experience? And you're being asked to take that tough road ahead to be able to release this. You're being called, you're being summoned, you're being put in the circumstance or the position in your life right now in the next 48 hours to finally let it go. So let's get some tarot. You could feel like a victim of your circumstances. When it comes to the situation, you could feel like, well, Theresa, you know, this person did this to me and I am angry. I have a right to be resentful. I have a right to realize that I went through this pain. Nobody is demising the experience that you've went through. Nobody is saying that you don't have a right to have that initial feeling. But what Spirit is wanting you to know now, for some of you, this is something deep rooted from maybe childhood, from early adolescence, from 10 years ago. You're still holding on to that cause, and it is a ripple effect. The effect is it's affecting different aspects in your life. Maybe you went through experience where you thought that you were supposed to have this fairy tale relationship, and every relationship you've encountered has been the opposite. And you wonder why. and you're angry because you see other people have really amazing relationships on the outside at least, but you don't have that. So you could feel bitter. You could feel like, why don't I have my perfect happily ever after? Why do I not have that experience? And you're holding that pain, and you're supposed to learn from the pain that nothing's perfect. You can try to have the perfect life, but nobody has a perfect life. So you have to be truthful and honest with yourself of that pain and recognize, you know what? I did go through something that was really hard. I went through something that was very difficult. And for some people, it completely collapses you. It brings you to your knees, and it helps you learn who you truly are on a core level, on your soul's path and journey, for you to be able to rise up and elevate again. And for some of you, you're still holding into the resentment loop. And Spirit is saying in the next 48 hours, it's finally time to lift the black cloud. It's finally time to part ways with this resentment. There's the Death in reverse. So you could be a Scorpio. You could be very fixated on, no, I'm not accepting that. I don't want to do that. There's a resistance that you've had about releasing this. And it is still existent in everything. It's interwoven in your DNA of every experience you've had because you're holding on to that resentment. You're not fully letting it go. Tell me some more with the tarot. Some of you, it's going to be some pictures, some memories are going to pop up, maybe on your phone, on your newsfeed. That is what's going to trigger this. There could have been an opportunity that didn't align when you thought it should have aligned in the past. And you checked out, you disconnected. And now you're resentful that you didn't take that opportunity. So for example, let's say you're in high school and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to be a doctor. But you end up pregnant and you end up taking a different route. You're still resentful of that experience, that you got robbed of going off to college and having the college experience and becoming a doctor. Maybe you ended up being a dental hygienist instead, or maybe ended up becoming a nurse instead of a doctor because it required less schooling and less commitment in the long term, because other obligations or other opportunities were first priority at that moment. So you could be holding on to resentment of that experience because you thought your life was going to be perfect because you were going to graduate high school, go off to college, you're going to become a doctor, you're going to do all these things, and life took a different course. Life took a different meaning, but you still have this deep-rooted pain that your life didn't turn out as perfect as you thought. Maybe you wanted to marry your high school sweetheart, and they never proposed. They never gave you an opportunity of having a long-term marriage or even having a marriage with them. And maybe you dated them all through high school, and that's what you expected. And something didn't change. You never got that opportunity. And you could be holding on like, why didn't I get that opportunity from the past? Why didn't I have that experience? And I'm angry, I'm resentful. Princess! Sorry, my dog in the background is playing with the puppy. Why did I not have that experience? And you could be holding on to that. You could be thinking, well, I wanted to get married to my high school sweetheart, and we went to separate colleges, and then we grew apart, and then we broke up, and then I went and married somebody else, and my life went a different way, and their life went a different way, and they were always the love of my life, and I hold resentment that they never proposed, or I never got the opportunity to be with them. And maybe the opportunity is not there anymore, but you're still holding on to what this perfect expectation or the perfect life or perfect experience that you thought you were supposed to have in the past. Spirit is saying now it's finally time. However long your anger, your bitterness has been building up from whatever this deep-rooted thing is in your DNA, in your field, it's affecting everything within your experience. So Spirit is saying it's finally time for you to have the courage and strength to realize that it's time to put a fork in it. It's time to say, you know what? It's okay if you didn't miss this opportunity. You had so many other experiences that you were meant to have. It's okay to accept that certain things didn't work out perfectly like you thought. A lot of times life doesn't work out perfectly. I don't know anybody that has a perfect life. I mean, people try to portray a perfect life online, but they really don't have a perfect life. So this experience that you feel you missed out on, that you're angry, you're resentful, you're holding this constant loop of criticism within your life experience, Spirit is saying it's finally time for you to be accountable, to say, you know what? my life is not perfect, and that experience wasn't perfect, but I'm ready to release the black cloud of the experience. I'm ready to let go of the anger and the resentment. I'm ready to find peace in my life through this experience, to realize that there is something more ahead of me, that I've had to go through everything I've went through in my life to be free of that so that I can have other experiences. Look at that. You got the sun at the bottom of the deck. Some of you may have actually had a child before you were ready. Maybe there was a son that was born. Some of you were meant to recognize long time ago, this is at the bottom of the deck, so long time ago that you were supposed to heal from this. And you're getting this message in the next 48 hours because you're going to be reactivated about whatever this deep-rooted pain is that has caused this for you in your life experiences. It's time to finally pull that root out. It's finally time to pull the weed of that experience that you're holding on to so that you can really glow. You can really find your happiness and no longer be resentful, no longer be angry, no longer be bitter, no longer feel that your life could have been perfect if this other opportunity would have worked out the way you wanted or the way you thought. And really be able to experience that happiness is yours for the taking if you choose to let go of the resentment. All right, let's get some advice outside of that. What is going to be the animal oracle messages of advice for the collective? What do they need to know? What do they need to hear that's going to serve their highest good? If you could please like, comment, share, and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Let's see advice. First piece of advice. Nothing is wasted. This is perfect. I love this. So the vulture, people look at the vulture and they think, I'm thinking of that movie, Secret Life of Pets, I think is what it's called, where he's kind of chained up at the top of like a rooftop of a building, and he's got like a blinder on. They don't want him to really see where he's at, and he's kind of just been hidden into the shadows of the top of this roof, and he's chained, and that little white dog comes and she becomes friends with him and lets him know that he, basically is worth it. He really wants her to unchain him so he can eat her, but then when he tries to eat her, she's like, why are you trying to eat me? I'm trying to be your friend, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the vulture is, for me, this energy feels like nothing is wasted, meaning everything plays a part in the experiences we have. Every opportunity or every missed opportunity plays a puzzle piece of what we're supposed to experience on this earth plane. And nothing has been wasted for the experiences you've had. Yes, something didn't work out. Something ended. You don't want to accept that it wasn't as perfect as you thought it was supposed to be. And now you're holding on to the resentment. And Spirit is saying with the vulture, this is letting you know that the experiences you had, you were supposed to have. And don't be resentful for an experience you thought you were supposed to have in the past, because it's not something that you need to carry with you. You've had so many other experiences that you're meant to align with. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. So you were supposed to miss out on this opportunity. Maybe for some of you, maybe you didn't get your high school sweetheart. You didn't marry them, and they married somebody else, and you married somebody else, but you had children with that person you married. Those children were supposed to be born. And that was not a waste. That was meant to be. It was coming into alignment with why you're here. The experiences that you had that you feel like you missed out on this opportunity from your past, it's not wasted because it was meant to be the way it is. And now you're being asked to say, you know what? I'm glad I had that experience because it wasn't a waste. I have this truly, maybe if it's some of you had a child, some of you went on to have another relationship. Some of you went on, instead of getting maybe married or having a baby or something relationship-wise, maybe you went on to have a business and you built a really big business, but you are resentful that you spent your whole life on your career and not your relationship. Nothing is wasted because that business was supposed to be built. That experience was supposed to be there for other people to have. And you've got to heal from whatever this resentment or this black cloud is that you've been holding on to. All right, collective, that is what I have for you. I do want to thank you for watching this video. If you could please like, comment, share, and subscribe, I would appreciate it. If you want your own personalized in-depth reading, check out my website, TimelessDivineTarot.com. Bye.